Have you ever heard of the crystal skulls? Well, I want to share with you today what happened when I actually spent time with one of the crystal skulls. If you don't know what they are, I will give you a little explanation here, but I paid and actually sat in the room with a crystal skull, and I had a whole half hour with it. I'm going to let you know what happened because we were allowed to ask questions of the crystal skull. I'm going to talk about that and a few other things that are going to be, let's just say, waking up along with ourselves. Let's go. So, welcome to Landria, Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through those fears and live an amazing life. I spent time with one of the crystal skulls. I'm going to break away here in a few moments and just give you a little background and history of that and tell you how I was able to get in front of one, what happened in that half hour, and what happened. You may think, what? And they'll have a really great explanation. Was, yes, I actually did buy this crazy little hat today. I thought it was adorable, and so yeah, I'm going to wear this one today. Does it irritate you, the person who eats my hats? Oh, I'm so sorry. Anyways, this is how we can deal with one another, right? With humor. And I do want to talk about all that today. I'm going to be, first of all, I'm going to be offering you all kinds of ways to completely change your life and become the person who will live in a new era, a new evolving era, and a golden era that will affect your personal reality and everything around you and will contribute to the planet in the way that we're supposed to be doing. I think one of the biggest challenges for most people is they don't know how to do that, and they're very entrenched in their own thinking and their own self-sabotage and all the things that are going on, and they don't know how to get out of it. Well, if you're watching this, congratulations. I'm here to help you get out of it because it takes another mindset. It takes another energy field and shift to step out of that. And so we're going to work on that. I'm going to be releasing some trainings, free trainings, some challenges, and some master classes and some other wonderful things. How about if you did change the world, if you went into a journey of self-discovery and you also learned how you could earn in a different way that the new world would accept and embrace and would benefit from? I designed Digital Explorers to do just that. This is a free webinar that explains why businesses fail. It's online, especially. It's an easy fix, and how one of the most important things we must do is focus on contributing in a very positive way, starting with ourselves. Welcome to planet Earth. So I'm going to take a break right now. I'm going to tell you what the crystal skulls are. So the mystery of the crystal skulls revolves around the claimed discovery of human skull-shaped carvings made of quartz, believed to be pre-Columbian Mesoamerican artifacts. However, scientific studies have refuted these claims, suggesting the skulls were crafted in the mid-19th century. Despite these findings, a popular belief persists that the skulls possess supernatural powers and may be linked to ancient legends or even extraterrestrial visitors. So the ancient origins claim that they were carved by the Aztecs or Maya, dating thousands of years ago. But science has refuted this, and they have examined skulls and believe they were crafted in the mid-19th century, likely in Germany. The supernatural beliefs, well, despite the scientific evidence, many people believe the skulls possess mystical or spiritual powers, with some claiming they can see in the future have healing powers. Crystal skulls have been featured in numerous science fiction movies, television shows, and there's a lot of mystery surrounding them. So the legend of the 13, some Native American legends speak of 13 crystal skulls that hold crucial information about humanity's purpose and destiny, adding to the lore surrounding these objects. All right, so there's a lot of speculation about them, especially the one that I saw. I cannot be sure which one it was. They claimed it was one of the few skulls on the planet. But let's say these things have some power. Now, I have to say I looked at it and it was just very difficult to figure out how this thing was made. So we were left in a room for 30 minutes. I paid $100 to do that. And we were allowed to ask questions. We were allowed to communicate with it in the dark. There was a slight light going through the skull itself, not total darkness. And then in 30 minutes, this young man, one of the owners of the skull, came in and said, "Do you have any questions?" And so I'm going to share with you the two things that happen with the skull. Number one, the skull and I sat in total silence with zero communications. Zero. You're going to go, what? Maybe it wasn't the real one. It wouldn't matter. I'll tell you the second thing is, he said, "What questions would you like answered?" And my answer to him was, "None." He said, "What? You don't have any questions? You don't want to know about your future? What?" And my answer to him was, "I'm in control of that, so nothing you tell me would necessarily be true anyways. So I don't really have any questions because I know that I'm the creator of my reality." He says, "I've never had anybody say that." Everybody sits and asks 100 questions. Will I meet the love of my life? Well, when will I get money? Will I heal? All these things. And I knew I had nothing to ask. And so if you have read my book and you've gotten to the end, you will know that the end of all of this is called the knowing. The knowing is when you stop having questions. There's nothing to know. The ego, the mind, and when I say ego, I don't mean that in a negative way. We all have ego, no matter what frequency you're on. We do remove it to some extent when we're super high frequency, but the ego is part of a protection system for the human entity that we're here in. The ego will, can make mistakes. The ego can go back into old patterns. It's always there. So once you go into super awakening, you can go back. I found out you don't stay up in that super high frequency. You will start to come down. Why? Because you pretty much can't function in the world when you're on that super high frequency. It's very difficult. You have to sort of isolate yourself and just sit there and eat rice for the rest of your life off on a mountaintop. But in order for you to function here and to speak to people and to actually go through the motions, which is very painful because you are feeling total love and you're seeing all of the pain out there, and of course those of you who know, you become very sensitive to that because that's what you're tuned into. Is pure love, and so anything that isn't, you're feeling it, and you have great compassion for that. So what happens is the ego wants to have answers and name. The ego wants to know. The ego has to have answers, and there aren't any. There aren't any, because everything's true, everything exists, everything is and always has been, and there are no words to explain that. And there's no reason to. It just is. I am that. I am. Everything just is. Does that sound a little weird? Well, it is a little weird. But when you are in total form of the one at its highest frequency, which we can't even know that either, but let's say you get up there, you're pretty high in frequency, you realize, I just am. I don't need to know anything because I'm that, and you, and this goofy hat. I am that. What is there to say? And any future that anybody would give me, any answers of wisdom or whatever it was that I could have, asked, I'm sure I could have gotten some beautiful answers. I didn't need. I sat there and in peace with the crystal skull, and it and I did not have any words. There were no messages or downloads. We were in total silence and peace with nothing. And that was perfection. Now, we've talked about, and if you've ever taken my Breakthrough Fear course or any of my lessons, by the way, all kinds of free stuff in my description, lists and, of course, webinars and things like that, in addition to Planet Conscious products. But if you have taken Breakthrough Fear, there is one point where we have to look at the past pains and ask ourselves, can we forgive? And my students go into forgiveness, but here's the next step that my students go into. They don't need to forgive anymore. They go past it. What's past forgiveness? There's nothing to forgive because no one ever does anything wrong. And that is what the one feels, the source of all things about you, because you're creating everything. So if you're creating pain and mistakes and all kinds of goofy stuff, how can you be wrong? You just are. You're just experiencing it. So there's nothing to forgive, and you are all things. So when you come into situations with other individual players, they're not really individuals, but they're seemingly individual players. That's not coincidence. And so you're playing out the roles that both of you want to play out, and the opportunities. And so, just so you know, the opportunities mean that you do have free will choice in that. So maybe you don't go through with forgiveness or whatever you were supposed to do, and this person was challenging you to do that in this lifetime. You don't have to go through with it. But that opportunity never ends. It's always there in some form. And so it will come back around. I think it's time for us to do it all here, now, as humans, and evolve as something else, and maybe come back here as future humans. Some people say that some of the extraterrestrials that are here are from our future. Yes and no. It both exists. It's all true and none of it's true. I know. Probably don't like that, do you? Because I think those are the channels that get a lot of hits, are the ones that give you some answers, but none of them can. And if they claim to have all the answers, then they have not tapped into the unlimited possibilities of all things and understood that what they're saying is fine and maybe it's beautiful, but there are also other choices and you can make them, even if they seem to be wrong, if that's what you need to do. So let us not condemn others. And I have warned you that you need to really listen to those people who give predictions about things and then get you all, your panties all up in a bunch, right? And so you realize, wait a second, that's just one of unlimited possibilities and probabilities. So it doesn't necessarily have to happen. But if I focus on it, and by the way, those are very smart intentions of many of these people who claim to know things, the more you tune into it and believe it, and it's on your mind, the more you help create it. So if I wanted you to create something, which is sort of what I'm doing here, empowering you to go into light and love and not have to have answers and stop worrying and going into fear, right? I'm planting it in your mind that that's not who and what you are, and there's something so much greater, and that you can't make a mistake. And so the more I say it, the more you believe it, the more we create it together. So if you go to a channel that says something specific, and there is one way, or this is how things are, and you focus on it, you will create it with them, and some of them actually know this. And they use the power of numbers to create situations. And it will come true. And you'll say, oh, they knew. No, they created, and you created. Yes. We're going to talk about more and more of that. You know, the creation of everything. I'm going to take you through some training steps here on my channel. And you'll be able to go into some free stuff here very shortly. We're going to reignite all my trainings to help you get through these times when you don't feel like you have that power or that control. And I'm here to tell you it's happening right now. It's not something you get. You got it right now. If you don't believe it, then you don't believe it. It's not. But you are all things, and you are perfect. How can you not be? And you will never be judged, because you're the very thing that creates the thing that did the thing that is not acceptable. And what is that? Experience, adventure, journey, knowing itself, and knowing something else and then something else, and evolving and expanding. You ready to do that? So I hope you enjoyed today. Maybe you think, wow, what a missed opportunity, but I'll tell you what. If you had asked questions and you've got some answers, maybe they would have been satisfying, maybe not. It wouldn't have mattered either way. All of it is within your control. So again, I hope you'll subscribe. Go down and if you guys are interested, Bite toothpaste is non-toxic. It doesn't come in metal tubes that pollute. You're not squeezing poison in your mouth. Those of you who are trying it, it's wonderful, isn't it? I got the charcoal ones. They're not real charcoal, and they just taste so good. You can carry them. Of course, you can see you carry them in a little thing of a little jar that you refill with a little paper that comes to you. It's beautiful. They also have deodorant that doesn't come in a container that you throw away, and it's all natural. You place that refill in this container that you keep all the time, and you push it up. You put it under your little pitties or wherever you want to put it on, and then when it's out, you get a new one that comes in little paper, and you push it back up in there. That's another, I don't know if you know, they've got that. They've got some pretty cool stuff. Bamboo toothbrushes, which I purchased also. My Amazon store has water cleaners. Some of you said that they're out, but if you go in there, they're amazing, and we have got to stop polluting our bodies. So go look in the description for some really cool stuff, because I have discounts, including the toothpaste, Bite toothpaste. So you've got a discount down there, discount for everything that I'm offering, so you might as well take advantage of that and support those business owners that are doing amazing things. And if you want to be one of those business owners, come on over. I'll teach you how. You won't believe what our students are doing. Wow, everything from education to traveling cross country, to energy healing, to working with animals. It's just unbelievable, and it's amazing. If you want to be one of those amazing new change makers, and that's what you do for a living, if that's what you want to do, you do it on the side, you do it for a living, come on over and check that out, and let's talk about it, because there's nothing holding you back from anything except for the little story up here. Yeah, and that's creating every time you say it. You're whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Blessings to you, my friend. Namaste.